Welcome to the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Scott Smokin, Silz, and Brad Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
All right, everybody. It is Monday. Welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined by my good friend, Mr. Brad Baumruck. We got a special guest today, which we will bring in a minute, but I cannot believe the season is over. We just started. I don't get it. Where did it go?
That's what you said last night. I said it went fast, but I told you it wasn't going to be, fast, but it was going to be short, too.
Oh, man.
So, it's 1 year. We got another one next year.
Yeah. We missed last week because I ended up having a game. I had a playoff game I had to do, so we weren't on last week. But we're going to catch up today. By the way, man, I really like that hat. So, you are the king of swag. I know you don't pay for any clothing, but, you could get your friends one of those. I'm pretty sure, there's a few of us that would like one of those. So, John Dunn, if you're watching today, send some swag our way.
He needs a hat. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Needed a hat.
We all got hats on today. Sometimes.
Yeah, that was weird.
Sometimes. Yeah, it does.
I did not expect you to be wearing a hat, and then I saw you with a hat on, and I'm like, well, I already got my hat on. That was weird, and that peer pressured Ross into going and getting a hat. We don't even have him on yet. We're already talking about it.
I'm allergic to khaki, but I have to wear khaki all weekend, to keep the powers that be happy. I can't wear my jeans and T-shirts, so... I'm back to my casual, normal look here instead of all gussied up for playoffs. But what a great weekend.
Let me tell you, it was ecstatic how many lengths you went. Trust me.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay. Everybody looked good. So
great week. We had to talk some hockey because there was a lot of stuff that happened, some unique situations, and a lot of fun. But we do have a special guest today because even though, like most of the hockey is done, well, it's not. We still got districts and nationals, but we also still have the Final Four for high school. And the expert on high school hockey in Illinois is the one and only Mr. Ross Forman, who joins us today. Welcome, Ross.
What's up, Scott? How you doing? Brad,
good to see you. I had the
Brad,
pleasure of skating with you the other day, and I haven't done that in many years, so it was kind of nice to catch up, and that's how I was able to rope him into doing the show today. So appreciate that.
Yeah, it was two smokers over at West Meadows.
Yeah,
good games.
Yeah, we need to bring something up too. I mean, let's talk about this, Brad, because we have the iPad, and I've said this before.
Yep.
I get the score sheet after every game, except when I need it. Except when I need it. Still waiting for it. Hasn't shown up yet. Why is that? Honestly. I don't know if
So my question to you is, A, you locked the game, right?
Yep.
Immediately afterwards, it brings you back to this screen that has all the games that it's been in that iPad. Did you see that? It's like a gray screen.
Well, actually, this game Ross locked. So I can't take full responsibility. I'm bailing on this one. Now it's on you, Ross.
That's okay.
Now he's throwing me under the bus.
Right.
So the thing is it either A, hasn't been turned back on when it was connected to the internet, or B, nobody's even pushed the upload button. So what I've been doing with the games that I've been officiating is after I lock it, it brings you back to the other ones.
Yep.
And I'm pushing the upload button.
Yep.
So even if they turn it off right away and it doesn't upload, once the manager gets home, because they have to do stuff with the score sheet, which Ross can actually explain on kind of how that works, that it formulates our brackets too. So it'll be kind of interesting to put these all together. Yeah. But once they turn it back on at home, whoever's iPad that is, the team manager, they're using it on their personal time for God only knows what, buying stuff off Amazon or doing whatever. But if you push that upload button, the second they connect it to the internet, uploaded it goes. That's from the music that you were playing earlier, right, Scott? So, but yeah, that's the reason why. If you haven't gotten it, shoot me an email. at ihwa.com. You can find me, shoot me an email. I can request to have it uploaded. It's just normally a team manager takes it home and they don't upload it, or there's an issue with the internet. We had one that was actually over at Bensonville, and we were looking for one, and I went into the software, and they hadn't been uploaded for the whole day. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? So I got a hold of the director over there at the AHI Center. Mr. Dunn ran over there, and he's like, oh, somehow the internet, somebody had turned off the Wi-Fi completely to it. And he turned it on, and they were up there within a minute. So It does work good when it actually works, but if technology is not hooked up to the internet, nobody's going to get it.
But it's just so funny. It's like every time we actually need one, that's the game sheet we don't get. So I just find that to be bizarre. It's almost like there's a stop button, like, oh, there's a problem at this game. Don't send the sheet.
No, it's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I love the iPad. But the other thing that's kind of weird is, so we had 2 games over at West Meadows. We don't show up in either one of the iPads that are there. Like, we're in every iPad. And we had to reinsert ourselves and all the information, which I don't understand how.
So
we end up at 99% of them, but in some of them we just aren't there.
So that's another thing. So that's also the team manager. Sometimes you'll get there and your name will already be in there for you. That's because the team managers can see who's coming to referee their game, and they'll put it in. Or you've already used that iPad.
Yeah.
And then some of the leagues actually update all of them. It just depends on what each league is set up and also what iPad is set up, because, they all differ. Just like not every one of them you can put your email in and get a copy of it. It's been requested by our affiliate that's in there for all the referees, but there's still a button that the managers have to go click that toggle button and turn it on. So a lot of the leagues have done that themselves to where they made sure they're on, but it's not everywhere, and it's a new process. Just like we had a situation happen, and I was able to talk to the people that made that software, and I made a suggestion now that if you call a board charge, check from behind, or a head contact, automatically it'll populate up a 10-minute misconduct with it. So it'll be the 2 lines in there every time. It'll be a friendly reminder to the referee. It's a reminder to the scorekeepers, because they won't be able to get rid of it. So now you can't have somebody serve those penalties without that 10. And then I also suggested for any game misconduct that it populates as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So, just something that they haven't thought about. That's all.
We must be growing in popularity, because now the bots are even coming on the show, okay?
Okay, what bots?
We got a bot comment in here from
is that
Twitch,
the promotional guy?
Yeah, so do me a favor and go over to Twitch, Brad, and be the moderator and delete the clown, okay? Please?
I can do that.
That's the way we're rolling here. So, we've got Ross, and we definitely want to talk about the Final Four, but there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I mean, Kaner went bye-bye since we've been on the show. He's played 2 games there now. He only has
0
6
points.
shots, no points, no assists, no goals. And by the way, they haven't won a game since he got there. Not saying that that'll stay that way, but we just got to chime in on this. Anybody got any thoughts about any of these trades that took place? I mean, Toronto got 3 former 2 of them were current Blackhawks. I don't know if Gustafsson had been traded before and he ended up there, but obviously he was Chicago Blackhawks, so they ended up with 3 Blackhawk players. Taves still here, right?
Yeah, since we're talking about players being traded, did anybody see the Phoenix Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes, whatever they're calling themselves? They posted a thank you to Patrick Kane the other day. Did you guys see that?
No. I didn't.
Because for a short second or whatever during this trade that was going on, Patrick Kane ended up somehow onto their roster. I don't know if they absorbed some of his pay. I don't know what happened. But they put him in a jersey and everything, and they said thank you for him being a Phoenix Coyote.
I did see that. Yeah. That
was pretty good.
Very short-lived. Yeah, that was cool. I forgot
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I like when they do stuff like that. At least, the NHL's having fun with it, and the social media people are. So I enjoyed it. Sorry, dog's getting me.
It's good stuff. Well, I mean, I'm still in a way surprised that he made it to New York, because New York had made their moves early, like a couple weeks ago. And just as Toronto, it's like, Kaner's going to be in trouble trying to find a home here, because both the teams have made their deals and he wasn't included. But then when he wasn't on the game on Saturday night before the actual trade, and he was, probably, I don't know. Are you packing, or are you in a good restaurant in New York trying to figure out where you might want to live, and how to roll like a baller would in New York City? So I don't know, but it's cool. I mean, I'm happy for him. He did a great job here in Chicago. I hope he likes where he's gone. I mean, New York's a great city. They certainly have a good chance of making a playoff run, but we didn't even get a first round pick, not a guaranteed first round pick. I guess we can get a guaranteed pick if they make it to the conference final.
Well,
which is possible.
He was going to be a free agent, right?
Yeah.
So either we take the picks, or we get nothing for him when he walks away.
Well, we're getting nothing for Taves, I guess, unless he's going to re-sign at a discount if he wants to stay here. I doubt that would be the case, but who knows? What's the power play for the Hawks now? Who do we have out there? Does anybody know?
That one, I don't know. It feels like the early 2000s.
I mean, I know a couple of high school coaches that might send the goalie out on the blue line for the power play. I won't mention any names, but anyway, so yeah, it's the way it is. All right, we got to talk Chicago hockey, because we are down to the Final Four. So, Ross, that's why you're here, my friend. We love you and we want to talk to you, but you are the expert when it comes to, picking the teams. So why don't you run down who we had in the top 8, who we're down to for the Final Four, and then let's get some predictions. We'll all go out on a limb here and make some predictions, I guess. Brad's not going to do that. Mr. Politically Correct is shaking his head no.
You got to make a prediction. You got to make a prediction. I've made them for years, and I always get laughed at until I make the one.
The officiating is going to be fantastic.
Well,
that's my prediction.
Let's hope you're right.
Don't write that down.
No, I think this Final Four in the red division is super interesting to me. You got New Trier Green, which everybody's gunning for. They are the top dog this year yet again. But the 3 other teams certainly all bring something and are very unique in their own perspective. Look at the semifinal with New Trier against Stevenson. You're not going to get a better game. You have New Trier Green, number 1, against the defending champion.
Yep.
The problem is that Stevenson has faced them 3 times, hasn't beaten them in 3 Scholastic League games all season.
Yeah.
So how much do you weigh on that? You look at the other side, you got Loyola Gold against York. And there's nobody who ever expected York to be in this far. They're a great team. They've been on. They could be the hottest team going right now. In their last 10 SHL games, I think they won 8 of their last 10. So they're hot. Everybody in Elmhurst loves them. I don't think anybody in the state other than that knows who they are. Honestly, we won't get into predictions yet, but I would not be surprised to see them get back. It's kind of like Loyola. They just grind everybody down. They don't score a lot of goals. They're a physical team like always. So it'll be interesting to see. But that first game with Green against Stevenson, I mean, that could be 15-12 with all the potential goal scorers in that game, particularly on the Stevenson side. Stevenson advanced by beating Glenbrook North 8-5. A team that scores 5 goals in a quarterfinal probably
should move on. Yeah.
But
that's a big number to put up and go home a loser.
It sounds like the Blackhawks in the San Jose series. Yeah. Remember that 8-6, 5-4, 6-4. I mean, it was
goaltender battles all the way. Absolutely. Well, I saw GBN and York the last game of the season, and it didn't really mean much because they were already set to play in the playoffs, and York handled them pretty easily. York is definitely a very physical team. But GBN can step it up. They can play. They can score when they need to. They win games. They manage to find a way to do it. York, again, very physical. I've seen them beat some really good teams and bring it. They bring it hard. They've got good coaching. So it will be a physical battle. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. I think the Green Stevenson will be a super fast-paced game. Again, as I said, a lot of scoring. I think the second game with Loyola and York, like you say, physical. Not that it's going to be a slower game by any means, but I think there'll be a lot of bodies thrown around in that game.
Well, I think Loyola's, got. I don't want to call them an underdog because they're a really good team, but I've seen them win some games that I didn't expect them to win, and I've seen them lose a couple games that I expected them to win very easily.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Who shows up is going to be major because they can play.
It's so, like you say, Scott. It's so strange when you list Loyola as maybe the fourth best team of these four teams, and they're kind of a dark horse to get there. I mean, this is a team that that you talk about every year, a top five, and that's we're talking past 25 years or whatever. You don't ever say, well, it's going to be boom, 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 without mentioning Loyola. They had a year maybe 4 years ago. I think I had them ranked maybe at about 8 or 10, and I'm like, they're never that low, and that's a credit to DJ LeVar and the entire program. On what they do, the tradition, the history they have there. I don't know if they'll be able to stop York is the bigger question.
Yeah. York brings it against some really good teams. I've seen them bring it against the GBSs of the world and some of the others, and I just know that they can come out and play.
Yeah, absolutely.
All four of these teams. I mean, I haven't worked a Green game all year. But I saw Green at a game before mine, and it was against Maine. And it ended up Green only beat them 1-0. And I know they threw everything at it but the kitchen sink in terms of shots. So obviously the Maine goaltender must have played out of his friggin' mind. And surprisingly enough, Maine didn't even pull their goalie in the last minute or two trying to win that game. I think they were happy at the 1-0 loss. Meant, just from a psychology standpoint, wow, you hung in there against what is probably the best team in hockey right now, and so build from that, take that and move on and build. But York is very physical. They play very tough. Loyola can too.
When you talk about York, as I said, you got a team that's won, and I'm just talking in regular season games, and that Scholastic League. Unquestionably the toughest league in the state of Illinois. Their last 10 regular season games, they won 8 of those games.
Yeah.
One of their losses in the 2 was to New Trier Green. The other one was to Lake Forest. Of the 8 wins they had, twice they beat Glenbrook North, twice they beat Glenbrook South. Those are both Final 8 teams. So York is doing something right, obviously. When I've seen them, I think they're very disciplined. They do play a physical style, as you say, which can lead to a few penalties or a few extra penalties. But I think I would put them as the favorite against Loyola in that game for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think that's a pretty good call. I think Loyola can surprise us. They can go there. They can play tough. But it's interesting. You mentioned. Not just Loyola, but you mentioned that York lost to Lake Forest. And I had the Lake Forest game earlier in the season, like one of the first games of the year, Lake Forest and Loyola. And Lake Forest came out of the gate, brand new to SHL, came out and won that game. Wow, they are here. They're the real deal. They do win some games, and they're a good team. They're only going to grow and get better, obviously. They've got a good coaching staff, and they work really hard at what they do. But this is where we see, like, that question mark for some of these teams. Like, can you go the distance?
Yeah,
Stevenson, I saw Stevenson now. Like, one thing I love about Stevenson is, like, they know how to get the puck on the net and they know how to get it off quick. I have not seen a team that moves the puck that well and gets the shot off that quick, where they've got a quick release, almost like a one-timer on stuff. They don't hesitate with the puck and, take an extra move with the stick before they fire the puck. Like, that stick is on, puck is on the stick, shot is in the air, it's gone. And I think
their offense is unquestionably the best in the state. They have some of the best forwards in the state. Davis Jaggers, he ran away with the SHL scoring. He had 57, I think it was, 57 points, 30 goals, 23 assists, or 27 assists in SHL. And you're going against Loyola, New Trier, North, South, Visor. You're going against the top teams, and he's putting up like stupid, crazy numbers. So I got to give Stevenson credit. They're just explosive on offense.
Yeah. So I think, personally, I think, the toughest game to get to the final right now is probably the Stevenson and New Trier Green game. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. That's that is the game. It'll be interesting to see. Even though I think it could very easily be a 5-4 game, I just as well wouldn't be surprised if it was 2-1. With a last second goal that wins it. But my gut is that it'll be closer to that 6-5, 6-4 game that both teams are putting in goals. Yes, you have talented goalies, but these guys can score. Particularly on the Stevenson side, they're incredible. You got 4 or 5 guys that anytime, you have to mark them. I say Davis Jaggers, the best player in the state this year.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sure there's somebody at Glenbrook North that's that comment, but.
Yeah.
GPS has some great players. I know they're out of it, but I mean, that was a really good team this year, and boy, they got some boys that can play on that team. Trust me.
Well, that's another one. I saw South. I thought South would make it to the Final Four.
Me too. I thought they were a Final 2 team at one point. Anything can happen. It's one and done. Obviously, it's not a series. I think it'd be very interesting if these were 3 best of 3 series where. You had to beat these teams twice.
Could you imagine? Okay, you ever seen the movie Basketball where they're like, and we're in the grueling 16th month of the season? They're just like, come on, we got to cut it somewhere. It would be too long. I mean, but I get where you're going with that. The one and done is a format that's difficult, but it comes out to sometimes, like Ross said, sometimes the hot team it's the advantage for. So I get it, and I think everybody knows that that's where it's coming to, every year at this time of the year, anyways, and it hasn't changed in how many years. So I don't think changing it's the option, and I think it makes it exciting. I get one and dones aren't always the fairest, but you know what? If not, these kids would be on the ice forever playing playoffs. And I don't think any athlete needs that.
You're the referee in chief, so you probably don't want to go out on a limb and
I told you the refereeing is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to write that one down so we have something to talk about next week.
I'll be absent.
Hey, I'm going to throw something out there, just trying to shift very briefly, but stay within high school. I think the combined division this year is super exciting. Unfortunately, we don't have the Wabanzis. They're limited. We don't have Glenbard anymore. Yeah. They're eliminated. I'm not sure if I see Buffalo Grove getting there this year. Is anybody
they're big, prep? They're strong, but they got to get through prep, right? What is the bracket?
Yeah,
Give us the bracket for.
So you got number 1 prep. They're going to go against Libertyville, and then you have
Libertyville's good.
Libertyville's they're a great team.
Libertyville's got really good coaching. Libor, I think, is the coach there. What a nice guy! Always a pleasure to work his games. He's done a great job for that organization and that team.
Yeah, I think that Tyler Kolb from Libertyville, super exciting player, talented. I thought they were really. I've seen them a few times this season and have enjoyed them every time. They're big, they're physical, but they play smart. I found him very disciplined with that team. So, that to me is much the way we're talking a lot about New Trier Green against Stevenson. I think the Prep Libertyville game is the game on the other
Yeah.
side because the other semifinal is not determined. Likely, I probably shouldn't say this,
Who's
but
left
likely it'll
before we
be-
get to that
it-
semi? Who's playing in
Yeah,
the
it'll
quarters?
be Maine against Lincoln Way, and Buffalo Grove against Chicago North. You know, if things go as
That game could go either
people
way.
predict.
I probably
It'll
would
probably
go
be
with
Maine
Maine for
against-
the to get to the semi. I think it'll be Maine, but then
Yeah, it'll be-
Chicago
it'll be
North
Maine
and
Buffalo Grove,
Buffalo Grove.
and
So Chicago North is that's Lane Tech's former team, right?
yes, yeah.
Well, the coaches hate each other from those two teams, so I think that will be a great battle. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You have a group of coaches
Scott,
that
Battle
do
between
not
the
like
coaches
one
and
another.
players.
Scott's betting on the coaches.
I,
He's not betting on anything else. His money's on the coaches.
I'm just telling you, the coaches do not like each other, so those boys will be fired up to play that game. So that is going to be a really good game. Buffalo Grove has size, but I think Chicago North has a lot of the toughness. So, man, that's a coin flip. I think that game is a coin flip.
So that Elite Eight, I'm going to take Maine. Maine's going to beat Lincoln Way.
I'll go with that
Sorry to
too.
say this, they're going to beat them 6-2. Buffalo Grove, Chicago North. Buffalo Grove's going to win 5-4. So then you got Maine against Buffalo
throwing
Grove.
numbers out.
Yeah, I do it every year just so somebody can yell at me later. That
Maine
we
against
won by-"
Buffalo Grove, I think, is another good game.
Problem is, I think that I don't know if Buffalo Grove can get past Maine. I think Maine brings too much. They're super talented. They do play in that West. So it'll be interesting to see that. But as I say, I can't wait to see Prep against Libertyville. If anybody has a shot to beat Prep, I'm sure both Maine and everybody else on that side will say, "Oh, we can beat Prep," but Prep is loaded.
I think Prep is the team to beat. That's just my feeling. If they stay out of the penalty box and they play hockey, I think they're the team to beat.
I don't know. I'll you could take Prep just to go against you. I'll take Libertyville.
Okay.
Combined. Who are you taking, Brad?
That's
who are
fair.
you taking?
The refereeing is going to be
Brad's taking the safe route.
Brad's next to you.
I am
so sorry.
impartial.
Brad predicts a tie before the game starts.
Hey, Brad, are you
I
at least
do.
going to chime in on the girls' side of things?
Nope.
Who's
I'm
left?
just here for the ride.
Number one Barrington against Loyola. So DJ LeVar is guaranteed. He doesn't even have to worry about his gold team. He's guaranteed to get to the United Center with the Loyola girls. So that should be interesting. I don't know if they can. Number 3 ranked Barrington. I don't know if they can keep up with Barrington. I'm sure they will put a good fight. They just beat Fenwick, so I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Barrington on this one.
If you go out there and count the number of AAA players, but Barrington's got the two sisters. Arguably,
it is funny when
the
when
best
see
player probably the best player in the country in that division. I got to think the one sister, like arguably.
Yeah, Barrington's loaded. I probably mispronounced her name. Is it Gorbatenko? Nicole?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Nicole, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name.
Yeah.
She's a stud.
She's a special player. There is no doubt about that. I mean, I think she's got to be probably a future Olympian. I got to think for the U.S.
I mean, I'll side with Loyola
I'll
just
go-
for the name. Lauren Smith from Loyola is a great player. So just for the name, you gotta like Loyola for that. But I don't see them stopping Barrington on this one.
All right.
So then I don't want to cheat anybody. We'll finish out high school and we can go back to Red Division. JV, you have number 1 Prep against number 4 Glenbard in one of the semis, and then kind of a dark horse, number 10 Glenbrook South goes against York for the other semi. So
GBS in York. That's a good game. I'm going to give that to York. I'm going to give that JV game to York. As
what
good
about
as the
Prep
GBS.
and Glenbard?
Prep, I'm going to go with Prep for that one as well, and then I'm going to go with York overall. I think York can win the JV.
I would have said that a couple years ago, but I'm going to take Prep. I'm going to take York, and then Prep will win it all. That's because the varsity won't win it.
I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going to take York for that JV final.
All right. And Brad's going to sit there and.
Brad, you better write these
no
predictions down. That's all. These things are on YouTube, so we can go back and look and see who picked what. So there's no backing out in the end.
Scott, the worst part is I do this every year, and quite often I'll even write, Lauren Smith's going to score the game-winning goal, or this person's going to get a hat trick and win. And guys, it's just a prediction. I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did, because someone will always call me out on it.
If it was Mission before, we just go, well, Abby Murphy's going to score the goal that they need. And we'll be right.
Okay, okay, well, Ross, how'd you get that? I was just guessing. I had a feeling that this team might win, but I didn't know that he was going to score a goal.
All the people that are watching, let's give them the choice between the teams, and let's see who they think it will be. Mark Bialco's actually already chimed in. Let's see what Mark says.
Yeah, he chimed in early. He told me this last week.
Final will be New Trier versus Loyola. Loyola wins in double OT.
I'm taking that bet.
Referees love you.
All right. I'm not going to agree with that one, Mark, but that's just me. Not saying you're right or you're wrong, but anybody else want to chime in? We'd love to hear from you. We'll put them up. We got Alan, before we got on this subject, he said tonight at Skokie, Impact versus Chiefs, 10:05 start. How's Frankie doing? Frankie is right here. You guys know, well, you can't see her right at the moment, but Frankie is always right here. When you see my hand moving, it's on Frankie's head. So she's like,
hey, what's the line?
There she is. There, she's right here. She's right here.
Huh?
Hey, Scott, what's the line on that Impact versus Chiefs game?
Chiefs.
Yeah. I am wearing an Impact hat, so I think
I don't know the teams well enough to go ahead and figure that one out. So I apologize. Guys, hope you're all well. We had a weird scenario in the Florida State Championship this past weekend.
We're gonna cover this. We're gonna cover this next week, Scott. You and me already talked about covering these situations next week.
Okay, I had a delayed penalty situation, but then a premature goaltender substitution. Where would you have put the face-off we elected for center ice? Okay, well, we will cover those.
We're going to answer it next week.
All right.
You don't want to just give the answer and then come back to it next week?
No.
No.
It's like a cliffhanger. We're trying to get these people to come back for more.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, we got a bunch of situations because I have some stuff from playoffs that I want to cover and some things that Brad wants to go over as well. So,
yeah, the face-off locations with the delayed penalties is something that we talked about covering possibly this week. We talked about this like 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you remember that, Scott, but anyways, we did. So I know we're going to cover it next week. It's on my number one list of things to cover because I've seen some referees. And honestly, some of the scenarios, it makes you go, is that where that should be? And so I get it, and they are kind of confusing. So I think we're going to definitely cover those all next week, at least as many as we can.
Okay, very good. So all your people will be prepared for nationals, knowing the correct location for everything.
I would hope they know it before, but yes.
I would hope so too, and I know they do, so I'm not worried about it. But anyway, all right. So Ross, give me your winner one more time for state for the red division.
So the red division, wow, this is so much pressure, especially with Brad just sitting up there in the peanut gallery, not saying anything. All right,
Brad's got the witness protection lighting going now, so you can't even see him. He's backing himself, so he's in a witness protection program.
Whatever. You know what, Ross? The good thing is when everybody starts bashing you, I could be like, I heard it first on our program, and we can put it on there.
I'm going to take York beating Loyola 3-1. I'm going to go Stevenson 4-3 in overtime over New Trier Green.
Is he writing these down?
So now we got Stevenson York in the finals. Ooh, here's a lot of pressure now. I don't know who I want to go with. This is a tough one. Brad, you taking your notes there, Brad? What are you doing? Oh, he's writing this down. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm going to go so far. All right, so here we go. Will Harlow from Stevenson. No pressure on you. No pressure on me. I'm not skating. Will Harlow from Stevenson is scoring the game-winning goal. Stevenson defends, beats York 5-4. Will Harlow, game-winning goal.
And that's the final?
I got that.
That's the final.
That's the final. So
Brad,
you're hearing it here
did you write it all
first.
down?
Stevenson
I've
5-4. Is it in overtime or not in overtime?
I got it all. That was going to be my question. Regulation or overtime?
Regulation. Yeah, regulation. Yeah.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I've now pissed off everybody at New Trier, Loyola, and York in a matter of 30 seconds.
29.4. But good job.
Okay.
All right. Brad, are you taking any predictions? Or are you just writing them down?
I'm taking predictions on paper. I'm not
Okay,
making
Why don't you
Scott,
put your predictions on paper if you don't want to say them out loud so we can go back to them afterwards and, we'll have an
Scott, who are you
evaluation.
going with?
Never have
I
written
am going to
anything.
go with New Trier. I'm going to go with New Trier. And I'm going to go with let's see. So we got York and who? York and Loyola. I'm going with York to beat Loyola. And then I'm going to go with New Trier to win it all. I won't go down to the overtimes. I won't go down to, like the scores, but
Game-winning goals or anything?
yeah, I'm not going to go. I think they're all going to be good games. So here's my big
think
thing.
that-
It will depend. Like, I've seen a few of the finals over the last few years, and they're usually played very conservatively. And I think that favors probably New Trier in a just a conservatively played game. I think they play a little safer in that final, and that's why I'm kind of going with that.
Yeah, I sense, when they get to the United Center, even if it's, a New Trier team who might have gone, every other year, every year, they get on that United Center ice and it's like, wow, there's 10,000 people around here. Like,
Yeah.
they get nervous.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Understandably so, but
Yeah, they
it's
don't
just
look like the way they play in the other buildings, with that high
no, and
impact.
you say what you
like,
want, but that ice is, that ice is so perfect. That ice is not great at Bensonville, when they're skating those Elite Eight or semifinal games, and then you go to the United Center where that ice is just perfect. You got 10,000 people cheering you on. There's
pressure.
nerves going on.
It's
Yeah,
pressure.
and
Listen, it's pressure at a squirt state championship game, okay? For the people that are involved, okay?
Absolutely.
Everybody feels the pressure, and that goes for the referees too. I don't care what level you're working. You feel the pressure because you want to make sure you do a great job out there and that you're working hard and you're not screwing anybody. That's really what it comes down to. You don't want to see anybody, have a game change because you made a call that maybe, you didn't need to make. So I think it's a different ball game. It really is. And that's why I'm going to go with New Trier in that final game if they get there. I think they'll get there, but, that's my prediction. And I love all those teams. I think you got 4 excellent teams, 4 excellent organizations. You can't ask for better. That's a great semifinal matchup.
yeah, it's interesting. There were really no upsets this state tournament. The way the bracket was done, and
Didn't we have the top 8 for the first time?
Yeah.
All 8 made it to the final.
Yeah, the teams you kind of expected, they made it. There were no that Evanston upset somebody or this guy, Deerfield upset somebody. There was none of that, and a lot of those teams, the 2 teams I just mentioned, Evanston and Deerfield, of all teams, you kind of, if you saw them during the season, you might have thought, this is a team that could knock somebody off, and
Yeah, Evanston's
It didn't
good.
happen.
I mean, Evanston is a good team. They've had a good
yeah,
season.
I think both those 2 teams I just mentioned just happened.
Yep.
They had great seasons. Congratulations to both.
There are a lot of teams that I saw the Kings this year a few times. The Kings have really moved it up considerably. I mean, they're a force to be reckoned with. in a position now to only get better and better, and it's great to see. So we are seeing some of these teams that are starting to develop players and develop their organization better, and it means a bright future for hockey here in Illinois.
No, absolutely. I think it's been a fun season. It was interesting watching the SHL where everybody was beating everybody. There was never, yes, I think New Trier is the dominant team in there, but
well, I refereed Barrington's first win.
I was just
New
getting
Trier.
Their first loss was against
it was
Barrington.
crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot. That was a lot. All the games that I've had in the league have been a lot of fun. I don't go up there that much, so I didn't do that many. But all of them that I had were very competitive. There weren't any stragglers. Let's put it that way. It was all very concise and built up. But I had a lot of teams that must have been like, because I know some of the leagues absorbed some players or some teams because of the Hayes League folding. So some of them creatively played some other teams in order to qualify for state and stuff like that. So I saw some teams that were playing like, Catholic League teams, which they normally don't play throughout the year. And, we're talking two teams in two separate divisions, and they're both really competitive with each other. It was interesting to see because it's normally not always that way, but I think the high school in general was pretty close across the board. I mean, the top teams, of course, are still the same band to say, which we're not gonna.
Sure.
I'm not gonna put that down.
But let's look at some of these teams. I mean,
everybody else
Loyola
is getting
has
closer too.
Loyola has what? They have two JVs or one JV. I forget how many teams they have.
Two varsities.
Two varsities.
Two varsities and a JV.
JV. New Trier has 3 varsity or 4 varsities.
Four.
And do they have 2 JVs or 1 JV?
I think they have 1 this year.
I think they have 1
they used
again.
To have,
they had
they have
2.
1.
They used to have 2, but I don't think they've done that in a couple of years.
I mean, you look at GBN. GBN's got 2 varsities and a JV, right? GBS has two varsities and a JV. I mean, so these teams are deep. They've got lots of players to choose from.
Visor has 2 varsities, don't they?
Who?
Yeah.
Does Visor have 2 varsities?
Visor has 2 varsities, and
a lot of these teams have 2 varsities now. It's amazing.
I guess the big question is, when you look at some of the combined schools, like Lane Tech is that's Chicago North, but when I went to school at Lane back in the day, it was you had to go to Lane Tech to be on the team. We didn't have these combined teams, and we still had a really good team with a lot of AAA players. At what point do some of these end up having to break off because they've got so many players? I mean, we got Chicago North, South, and Central.
There's rules against how many they can have actually together.
Yeah. So, they've got multiple teams too. Does Lane have 2 varsities? I think. Or Chicago North? Chicago North has 2 varsities and
so.
I don't think so.
Is it 2 or is it 2 JV and 1 varsity? Maybe that's.
Honestly, I don't know. There's too many teams this year.
Yeah. That's a good problem. It's a good problem for us. Lots of hockey games coming. That's for sure. So
I think another interesting thing for the state finals, and Brad, I'm guessing you know this. Are they playing 15-minute periods, or what are they playing?
17
for the state for the finals.
So the Reds are 7. The Reds 17. Everybody else is 15.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was saying because if it's
Mark Bialco had chimed back in here. He thinks Prep will win combined over Maine. I agree with that. I agree with you, Mark.
Great. I haven't agreed with Mark on anything.
Yeah. Not even that icing call you guys made. You didn't agree on that one.
No.
You gotta have 2 to have an icing, folks. For all you coaches that are confused out there, it takes 2 people to have an icing, not 1. All right. Well, anyway, so had to throw that in there because Mark's picking Prep. That's what I said too. I think Prep's got that one. What's your prediction on that, Ross?
Brad, pull out the notes.
I didn't start taking until you got to the red division, so I didn't write it all down.
Oh, so I can change right now and go with anybody at this point.
Yeah, you can.
I can write in anybody.
Well, I said it earlier, and I think I'm going to stand with it. I want to see Libertyville pull an upset. You know,
That'd be great to see.
I think
But
the talent.
I'm still going with Prep. Put me down on that one, Brad.
So you got Prep?
I got
all
Prep.
the way, or what?
Yeah, I'm going Prep all the way on that.
You don't even care who's coming out of the other side, do you?
Yeah, he doesn't even. He
doesn't even know. He doesn't care if it's Maine, Lincoln Way,
If Prep
Buffalo
stays out
Grove.
of that penalty box, they will win.
Yeah, but you can say that about a lot of teams.
Yeah, you can. You know, that's York's thing. York's got to stay out of that penalty box to win.
Yeah.
But they
Well,
still
better,
need to
because I
play.
have to
They
go
still
with
need to
Aaron
play
Burns.
their hard physical game. They just need to make sure they're doing it clean.
Yeah.
You know, that's their game. You know, that's and that's what they're going to need to do to win the JV. So I got York for the JV. Put me down for the JV.
That one I did write down. I have no idea.
Okay.
I was doodling and I had wrote that down.
Yeah, I got York for the JV. And I'm sure
We'll-
Brad
we'll
will
agree to
remind
this.
us of all of our picks next week.
I can just imagine this in 2 weeks when Brad's like, you guys were
Yeah.
both wrong. You didn't know
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. Brad had
Yeah,
all
see
the
why I
right.
was
He had all
quiet.
the right teams. He had everything picked perfect. He just
Yeah,
didn't want to
let
share
me
it
write
with
mine.
anybody.
I'm writing mine down right now.
I don't know, Brad. I like
Brad
you as the
doesn't even know-
referee in chief, but I liked you better when you weren't the referee in chief, and we could have these conversations.
Brad doesn't even
Yeah,
know who's
call
in
you-
these games, so I was just going to write anybody down.
I'll call you later.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll be getting that phone call at 12:30 tonight. Yeah, by the way, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. By the way, all your picks are terrible. Okay, have a good
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
This is for fun.
Listen, I'm
You know,
not a
everybody,
sports
I think-
bettor. I don't
think-
claim any fame to that. Otherwise, I'd be doing that, and for real. But
Yeah, I think even the guys that do those sports betting shows, they really don't know what's going on either, even though people bet on them. And,
all you degenerate
this is just
gamblers
fun.
out there, send me $100, and I'm going to give you the picks right now that you need for the weekend.
That's how we could have told. You know what, Scott? That's the way.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the way you could do it.
No, this was for fun, everybody. So I know. Unfortunately, Ross takes a beating all year. Ross, how a lot of people don't know this. How do you update throughout the season the rankings? Because I know how it's done, but I there's no physical way you can be at every single rink. So you want to give a little insight onto that?
So there are a couple things I look at is what have you done lately? If you won, let's say at the beginning of a month, you win your first 5 games. At the end of the month, you lost your last 5 games. I'm not looking at you as you're going down in my book at that point. But I talk to coaches in all the leagues. I'll talk to somebody in Scholastic, somebody in West, and get their input because I might not see a West team. I don't see Catholic League as much as I see Scholastic or North Central. You got to look at the records as well. So there's a few factors that I look at, and a lot of it is based off of what have you done lately. We come out of the Loyola tournament at Thanksgiving. We come out of the Stevenson tournament. If you're going to win that, if you're in the finals in either of those 2 tournaments, I'm not really truly worried about what you had done early in the month of November because, what did you do from the Thanksgiving is say it's the 25th, so you got 4 days there when you're playing games. If you win, 4 out of 5, and make it to the finals, you don't win it, but you're in the you're the runner-up in either one of the tournaments. I'm going to move you up. Based on
both
that.
of
Even if
those
you-
tournaments are very, very competitive to win nowadays. They're very,
Absolutely.
very competitive, both of them.
Absolutely, and it's that's where team they want to be, and it's tough because you look at it, it's like, somebody in Scholastic this season might have had 5-7 losses. That doesn't mean that they're bad. You're losing to maybe Nutrier, GBN, GBS, Viator, all these powerhouses. But you got to look at the number of losses, and then you compare it to maybe somebody in, I'll just say Illinois West, and that's not a slight at them, but a team that has 4 losses in West, like, okay, is that better than a team that has 7 losses in Scholastic League. When your losses against are, those 7 losses would be, Nutrier, GBN, GBS, Viator. These are all top programs, and then you're losing to, whoever. So I look at the strength of schedule, and then a lot of it I get from other coaches, early in the season, when they're at, I'll get that. I heard early on, I heard a lot about Carmel, a lot about Libertyville.
Yeah,
and
Carmel's
then,
Carmel's good. Carmel's good.
They're a good program.
I mean, I worked the GBS game with Carmel for their senior night, and GBS got a quick goal. Wasn't a great goal. It's disappointing. I could tell Carmel was just flat. They just hung around, and then they started grinding a little bit. By the middle of the second period, they were grinding a little harder, and they're still hanging around. And now they finally decide, okay, let's play hockey, boys. And they ended up beating them 2-1. They beat GBS, and I've had them a couple times. That is a good team. Those guys play very hard, very physical.
I mean,
PJ's done a great job with that program. I think that I don't know what they have, how many guys are graduating this year, but they're going to be moving up in the world on a more regular basis, I think.
I mean, there are a lot of teams that, unfortunately, their season is over today.
Yeah.
That very good teams.
Yeah.
You talk about a Carmel, you talk about an Evanston, a Deerfield.
Yeah.
I mean, look at St. Ignatius. They won the Kennedy Cup.
I know.
They're done.
And they're
they
out.
Lost pretty handily. Was it 5-1? I think to York. I think that was the final.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
5
see that
or 6.
coming.
I can't remember.
I
I didn't see that coming. But
you got Providence. You got Bennett. You got.
So
strong,
let me
solid
throw this
teams.
out there. I mean, Ignatius has been really strong for the last several years. They've been a force to be reckoned with. Do you think they will move into the SHL division at some point? How does that work? Because I mean, we've got Viator that's in there. It seems like most of the schools that are up north are all like in SHL. We only have what do we have? We have one north side team that really plays in the Catholic League. We have Notre Dame that plays in the Catholic League.
Right.
Do we have anybody else from the north side that plays in the Catholic League? Or just
Not from the north
just
side.
Ignatius,
Well,
but that's
Viator
kind
is
of
because
that's
most of the-
Madison.
most
Madison
of the-
Avenue is the divider. They're actually south.
Most of the teams are south. That's just,
Yeah.
It's just because that's just like throughout the season. I work a lot of Catholic League and I work a lot of Illinois West because I live in the South. And I if I wanted to drive all the way up north, I could, but I don't really see the benefit of always driving up there when I have the same caliber down by me. With it, it might not be game in and game out, but all the games are through the high school leagues. They're all very competitive.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, especially referees, stay more local with stuff like that because I know some people have asked before, why do you see the same refs on these leagues? And well, it just happens to be I live in that area, and Notre Dame seems to be the odd cat.
With the number of games that are out there, the refs occasionally they will travel if there's a number of games there and it's convenient for them, and they get those games and they get scheduled. But the reality of it for everybody that's just watching, with the demand that there are for referees, they don't have to travel very far. They can stay in their regions and work their areas for the most part. Would you agree with that, Brad? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: a lot of the times I'll only travel is because I want to go work with one of my friends.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest with you,
That's why he doesn't come up north. Didn't work with me this year.
Oh my God! The only reason, I don't even look at the teams.
Yeah.
When I click on games, I
No.
Honestly, it doesn't faze me.
You're looking at location and times
location,
and level.
time, day, level,
Yep.
and if my friend happens to be on it,
And again,
so there's a lot of guys up north that I love, and I only get to see during playoffs. Every once in a while, I can squeeze one in early, but it's not always.
I'll just throw this out there, and again, for all the teams out there, you want to see some different referees? Have more weeknight hockey. More weeknight hockey, Monday through Thursday. I think you will see some different officials. You'll see better officials, and you'll see different officials. And you'll see more of them. More variety.
Speaking of the weeknight hockey, There was a Thursday this year. It was really weird. And it had like 56 games on it. It was the oddest thing ever. Like, I've never seen that many games. And that's how many were scheduled, and that was just youth. And they were scrambling to try to find referees. So we want you to move to the weeknights, but not everybody on Tuesday, okay? Got to spread this out a little bit. We got to think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I with you. Some of the leagues, because they did absorb the extra teams, they did play a lot of weeknight games. And I can tell you this, those weeknight games went faster than the weekends.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
people saw them and they know how far and few in between they are, and they gobbled them up.
Guys, snap
it's
them up
definitely
quickly.
a good advice.
Yep. Let's look at a couple of comments. Great conversation, boys. Ross, love everything you do for hockey, brother. Okay.
Thank you.
Brother.
It's because of the hat.
Brother.
Yeah, I knew where he was going. I know where I'm going with it.
Joe Prescott. What's up, Joe? Always a pleasure. Sorry you tried to call me twice. I was tied up, Joe. I owe you a phone
Thanks,
call.
Pops.
Ross gets good information because he's trusted and he's always been a fair man. Yep. Nice comment right there. Coming from a true pro himself. That's Joe. Let's see. That's St. Ignatius lost 5-1, but 2 goals were on open nets when they pulled the goalie. Okay.
Scott's like, who's Saint Large?
Yeah, St. Large.
Talking about here.
St. Large lost 5-1. Maybe that's a new abbreviation for St. Louis or something. I don't know. St. Large, because they go with that. What do they go with? What do they call themselves? Not St. Louis. What do they call St. Louis? They got some advertising promotion going on. Anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they got like a nickname for their city when they're trying to sell tourism to Illinois people to come to St. Louis, okay?
Oh, they just say lower taxes.
No.
This is do nothing else.
They're not trying to get you to move there. They just want you to come spend some money there. That's all.
Oh, you're right. That's Indiana with all
St.
the
Louis or
signs.
something like that. They call it St. Louis or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Indiana wants you to move.
We've gone
there,
into a weird territory.
Yeah, I know.
Let's stick with hockey. Advertising's not us.
All right, there you go. Hey. All right.
You talk about marketing. I'll throw something at you.
Yeah.
Tell me that I think so many of these teams now have really cool 3rd or 4th or 5th jerseys. I think some of them are just, and Green, for instance, like it's their whole outfit. They have different
the shell, everything.
Yeah.
I
don't know. The white team had the white shell. Did you see the white shell? Did anybody see that from New Trier?
Yeah,
I saw it. Loyola was wearing white the other day because they have like a white shell, I think, when they wear white.
Okay.
Oh, it was I had maroon. So they were wearing the white shell with the maroon line and the white jersey. And I hadn't seen it yet. And I'm like, well, that's definitely different looking. And I'm like...
We'll leave it as it's different looking. I'm not.
It was different looking.
I'm not a fan of the white shell. I'm just gonna go out there and call you out on it.
You didn't buy it, so
I'm not a fan. But you talk about all these jerseys. So I was talking to one of the parents the other day, and I was asking, so what does it cost to play like in this league or whatever? And they gave me a number, and then they go, it's like $700 or $800 for this. They call it the swag, because you have to have 3 jerseys, and then you got to have like. The proper undergarments and hat and T-shirts and all that stuff, and it's like $700 or $800 for that before they hit you for the other stuff. So, it's good marketing, right? Got the swag back. You get the swag. Yeah. But I think it looks cool. There are a lot of nice jerseys out there. A lot of the teams have done a great job with that stuff. When I played in high school hockey, we had 1 jersey. That was it.
And
1
6
jersey.
Players. You only had 1 guy.
Well, we had more than 6 players. I can tell you that. But we walked 3 miles with our bag on our back to get to practice.
Oh, here we go. All right,
it's probably uphill. I'm going to guess both ways.
Exactly. Everything is uphill. It's an uphill fight. But
all right.
All right. Anything else you want to cover before we go, Ross? We'd love to have you come back next year when you do the rankings. Like, how about you don't announce them until you come on the show? And you announce the rankings.
Now he's really trying to hook it.
Now there's a lot of pressure. Sure, absolutely. This way I can not just anger 3 teams like I did today.
No, you can get everybody else.
I'll get everybody. I'll get the whole state. I get 24 teams who are like what do you mean? We're not top,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, let's unveil the rankings here. Let's have them come on. Hey,
Deal.
you can bring a couple
Deal.
people on. They can even, say why they should have been ranked higher. Or, wow, thank you for the nice ranking. We hope we can perform to that level this season.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'll
always
state
interesting
the
when
officiating will be excellent.
it's always interesting when I see somebody and don't think they've seen the rankings or something, and you're talking to them and like, oh, by the way, why are we only ranked number 13? Like, oh, I didn't think I didn't think you saw it, but
Sorry, the
They see
dartboard
it.
got me.
Trust me, they're waiting for it. Okay, that's why I say you come back on here. Let's put them up. We'll unveil the rankings for everybody next season. So
yeah, I'm nervous because
we're gonna book that with you, Ross.
I told you guys this before we started, especially after what I've just said for the Red Division Finals. I think it was maybe 5 years ago. Guys, I'm sorry, Loyola Nation. Whatever year you won state, I didn't have you winning. I probably didn't even have you getting to the finals, and I put that in paper. And then, of course, you win state. I'm on the ice with this, doing interviews and getting ready to take photos, and of course, Coach Stu was very quick to point me out to all his players, like, that's the guy who wouldn't give you any respect all season. So, yeah, it kind of sucks that you got to be the one putting your name on the rankings, but that's how it is.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
And rarely do you get it right. I had it once a few years ago. I don't remember the player from New Trier. I said, yeah, so-and-so's going to score the game-winning goal of his 3 that he scores. And the player actually scored 4 goals. I was like, wow, I was pretty close. I said 3, they scored 4. So,
and then he got an angry email.
Yeah,
I scored
you didn't
4
give
goals,
him enough
not 3,
credit
and
ahead of
predicted it
time.
wrong.
exactly. How'd you not know I was going to score 4?
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be great finals. Looking forward to getting back to the United Center.
Yeah, tell everybody how, if they want to go to the game, because you're
Yep.
seeing this in advance, tell them how you can get tickets to actually see the final at the United Center, or even the semifinal games, which are coming to Bensonville in a matter of moments.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so if you want to see the games, the red games are on Wednesday. The combined games are on Friday. I believe the first one is at 6 o'clock. You do have to pay a gate, and it's only cash. Just so you know, at Bensonville, it's $5
Cash only.
for $5 for adults. What is it? $3 for kids.
$3.
Something like that. $3 for seniors. Just so you know, there is a cash gate.
What's the age limit for the senior
those?
for discount?
I don't know. Don't you start with me. I don't keep track of all this. And then the finals will be the 19th at the United Center. You can get the tickets. AI has a link to it. And then also, I believe, if I remember correctly, there is a link on the United Center page in order to purchase them as well. So they're pretty readily available. You can Google it. You'll find it. Yeah. And I think those are 15, but I don't remember, so don't quote me.
Please
But
come out
it's
and
a great
support
day.
Illinois hockey. We've got some great teams. You'll guaranteed to
That
have a
makes
good
a
night
great
there.
That
just
makes
so
a great
you
day
know-
when you see all 3 of those games. You see some
Yeah,
great
and-
hockey.
Yeah, that, and then also everything is open pretty much in the United Center. Not everything, but a lot of the restaurants and all that stuff, the concessions are all open. So I know when I worked it a couple years ago, and it was the first time my dad had gone, even though I had gone all these times, I knew everything was open. I didn't think of telling him. So he was like, shocked that he could go over to the whiskey bar and do all that good stuff. So
Get a
everything is
$14
open.
beer, no problem.
He's retired now, so he doesn't care. So
No, it'll be a
right.
great time. And honestly,
It is.
even for a family, like you want to take a family out and go to the combined games or something, or the games over at Bensonville for $5 for the adults and $3.
Yeah.
I mean, what a nice way to go out and have some family entertainment. And, you'll see some good hockey. Trust me, those guys play hard. If you like physical hockey,
Semis,
Illinois
semis
high
will be
school
great.
hockey is physical. It's fast and it's physical. So if you miss what you don't see on TV anymore, you can go out and watch high school hockey and see some people that will actually check somebody and not think twice about it, okay?
All right. We're definitely overtime, Scott.
Yeah, I know.
And I
All
got
right,
to
Ross.
call somebody to help him with a report. So
Okay. Ross, thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. We definitely would like to have you back to introduce the rankings next year. And, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe we can get John Dunn to, let us put up the brackets next year when they come out with Ross. Maybe that would be kind of cool. Like have somebody... get to release the brackets, maybe, Mr. Dunn, and then maybe Ross can comment on the brackets and give us his picks, like, from the start all the way through. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that'd be a great show. So we can make that happen.
John booked it just now.
I hope so.
yeah. You just lost your hat,
we love when he comes on the show. Sometimes he'll just chime in at that point and say, yeah, we could do that. But, I don't see him. He might have to think that one over first. But hey, it doesn't hurt to ask. All right. Well, Ross,
right.
It was great seeing you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Brad, great job this weekend or the last few weeks with everything that's been going on. And now you got your big showcases coming with your finals and semis and all that good stuff. So keep up the good work. And, as he said, the officiating will be the winner because they will be doing a great job out there. So as we like to say, join us out there and watch some great hockey and have some fun. So on behalf of the Ref Room, thanks for joining us. If you'd like to support the channel, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom. By the way, Brad wanted a wheel bag. We put it up on the Buy Me a Coffee site. So, if you'd like to just contribute directly to Brad getting a wheel bag, you can do that. And, you'll be able to shame him for the rest of his life with his wheel bag when he comes in. You'd be like, I paid for that thing. I put $3 in there, whatever number of coffees you
now
want
we're
to buy.
going to get like 84
You will
cents.
be able to shame him for life, okay? And so I encourage you to go to buymeacoffee.com and look at the opportunity to buy Brad a wheel bag, okay? And as a group, it's not going to be one person shaming. It could be, like probably 30 people
shaming.
Because,
We'll start a new Facebook page, all right?
Yeah,
us.
there you
What kind
go.
of bag do you have, Brad?
I still have a Rogue.
You carry it?
Yeah, I don't fly anywhere with it. And it doesn't need to take up 3/4 of the referee room like
Ross,
Scott's
you
bag.
see what he's wearing today. He only wears swag gear. So if that rogue
has
bag
to
was
be-
a swag bag, that's
Nope,
why you still
I
got
paid
it. So
for
we
it.
got to get him a
That's
wheel
the-
bag. We
the
got to
dumbest decision you've made, Brad. I've lost a lot of respect for you for having a bag you carry.
Well, wait till next in 2 weeks. We'll talk about decisions. Those will be
Mr.
fine on the
Prescott,
19th.
Mr. St. Patrick's Day himself has chimed
it's
in,
coming.
reminding us that the Feast of St. Patrick is upon us. So
It is.
we may have to
Can't
put some
wait.
green on and bring Mr. Prescott on the show to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Is that 1 week away or 2 weeks? Where are we now? This is like
I think
It'll
the,
be-
the
it'll-
6th,
it'll be
right?
the-
So
the
11
Friday.
days. So yeah.
Not this
but
Friday,
isn't
the next
the
Friday.
Ferris Bueller?
So we probably have to have him on
parade
next week
this
to
weekend?
have the Festivus of green for the rest of us.
Yeah,
So,
it would be this weekend.
yeah. So, all right. Well, think about that, Joe, if you're available. And I'm good with that. You good with that, Brad? We can have him on next week,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do a
We'll
St.
celebrate-
Patrick's Day show.
We'll
I
celebrate.
always like that.
Yeah, we'll do the green thing next week, hopefully. So,
I'll
all
dye
right.
the
With
dog
that being
green.
said, going to let everybody go because we've been here for longer than we said we would be. And that's because Mr. Forman is an awesome guest, and we appreciate your being here. And
You got it. Thank you, guys.
okay,
Thank
we'll see you
you.
guys. All right, on behalf of the Ref Room, Scott Smokin Silz, our guest Ross Forman, and Mr. Brad Baumruck, we will see you next Monday starting at 5:30 right here from Chicago. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.